There are a huge number of ways that you can view your project, and what I want to do is take you through some of the most common ones. For example, if I want to see this particular Gantt chart, but the table that I see on the left hand side gives me information regarding work rather than duration, then what I'll do is I'll go to the View tab in the ribbon and I'll go for the Tables button, which is in the Data group. If I click the Tables drop down, I can change it from Entry, which is what we've been using up till now to enter our tasks, to Work. Here I have the total man hours for this particular project, and it's broken down into man hours by task. Alternatively, I might go to the Tables button and decide to choose Cost. And so now I'm seeing cost information by task. And if I change the table back to Entry, this is what we usually work with and have been working with up till now. So you can control the table on the left hand side of your Gantt. What's also useful is task usage. Now on your view bar on the left hand side of your screen is a button called task usage, and that's one way to get to the task usage view, as well as using the task usage button on the View tab in the ribbon. But I'm going to go this way. Now when I go into task usage, the focus is really on the tasks, row 4, row 5. Now let me go down to set up equipment, which is our busiest task. So here's our busiest task, set up equipment, and I'm saying that we're spending 33 man hours on this particular task, and I can see that 33 man hours is derived from these various resources and the hours they're contributing to this task. And I can also see what it's costing me for setting up the equipment and where those costs are coming from by resource. Now the other handy thing to do is to see how that's distributed over time. So while I go to the Task tab in the ribbon, out to the far right, I'm just going to scroll to Task. Immediately I can see the 5 hours that the caterer is doing is falling across the Friday, Saturday and Monday in this period here, and that's how that 5 hours is derived. I can see how many hours in total a resource is doing, how that distributes over time. I can see how much in total on a task level and how that distributes over time. So this is a very useful view. Now in addition to seeing work in the task usage view, what you can do is you can go to the Format tab in the ribbon, and there's a number of tick boxes. So I might decide I don't want to see work over time, I want to see cost over time, and here's how my cost is dispersed over time. If I take off cost, I can put back on work, and there's my hours over time. Or what you can do is actually see both. It causes very high row heights, but you can actually see the cost and the hours over time. But I'll just put it back to work, the default. Now the other thing you can do is you can go to your resource pool. So I'm just going to go back to the resource pool at the bottom of my screen. Now this is the table entry. Just like in the Gantt we had the table entry, because this is where you enter your resources. But you can flick this view to work or cost. For example, if I go to the View tab in the ribbon, I can go back to the Tables button, and I'll say I don't want to see this table, which is entry, I want to see work. And what that tells me is the total number of man hours each resource is contributing to this project, in total. If I change the table to cost, I can see exactly how much each resource is costing me regarding this project. And if I put the table back to entry, that's the default. Now the other view that's very useful is called resource usage. We looked at task usage where the focus was on the task. When you go to scroll down the view bar and when you go to resource usage, the focus is on the resource. So let's take for example the bride. Here's the bride here, and these are all the tasks she's working on. She's doing a total of 31 hours, and that's broken down by task here. If I want to see how that's distributed over time, I'll go to the Task tab in my ribbon, and to the far right I'll click the Scroll to Task button, and I can tell her or print and see exactly how much hours she's doing each day across time. Now just like the task usage view where we were able to say we wanted to see work or cost, I can also go to the Format tab in the ribbon and say I don't want to see work, I want to see cost. And so I can see how much this is costing over time. Of course the bride costs us nothing, but if I was going down to the manager does cost us. And if I was then to go to the Task tab in the ribbon and scroll to Task, I can see that cost distributed over time. You can also zoom out and zoom in as you have done before. If I want to go back to format, I can say don't show me cost, show me work, or show me both. So the manager I can see is total man hours, then I can see the man hours by task, I can see that distributed over time, and I can actually see how much it's costing me as well. So very, very powerful, the ways that you can view information in project. But I'll just put it back to work, the default. And then finally, the other major view is a graphical view, which is the resource graph. One way to get at the resource graph is to click the resource graph button on the view bar. So I'm going to go there. I then want to go to a period in the time scale where I know the manager's working and the project doesn't start till the 30th of September. So I'm just going to scroll to the right on my horizontal scroll bar. Eventually, I'll hit the time where he starts working in the week of the 30th of September. Now what this graph is showing me are the percentages of his time, or the units, and I don't find that very helpful. If I right click on the graph, I can actually say, look, just show me work, and that's the number of hours the manager is doing each day. And again, you can zoom out and zoom in. If I don't want to see work, I can ask for cost information, and that's how much the manager is costing me each day, some days being cheaper and some days being more expensive than others. I can also change it to remaining availability. Alright, so I can see when he's not busy or she's not busy, when they're available, so the inverse of work. And so you can right click and you can change this view to all sorts of options, even cumulative cost and cumulative work. But I'll put it back to the default, which is peak units. In some ways it's almost confusing, the variety of views that you have, but have a look at the different views that are available on your view bar, and be aware that when you go to certain views that you can go to format and change what you see, or you can go to view and change what you see.